back, everybody, to another story time video. In this video, we're going to read a few stories from this page over here on this screenshot. All the stories are about the mikvah and going to the mikvah. Without going into too much detail, it's the custom by chassidim to go to the mikvah every day or a lot or whenever you can. And it's taught in different svarim that going to the mikvah is a huge tikkun for your soul, and it fixes everything, and you can do a lot of good things for yourself and your spirituality and your avodas Hashem by going to the mikvah. So these stories are also about people who had mesiras nefesh to go to the mikvah, because as you know, back then it was a little different. There wasn't really like hot mikvahs like we have today. We are, thank God, very spoiled in that regard. Back then, in the middle of Ukraine and Poland, when the Chassidim started to go to the mikvah, it was very cold outside a lot, and they would have to break the ice to go sometimes into mikvahs, into rivers, into lakes. That's pretty rough. I don't know if I'd be able to actually do that. I've been to some pretty cold mikvahs in my life, but I've never broken the ice to get inside. But let's learn about some people who did. So, first story. Siper Hagoyin Rav Elimelech Av based in Kodesh Mizach. This guy, Rav Elimelech, who was the Av based in Kodesh of Zach, he spoke of a wondrous thing that was told to him by one of his people that knew him. He said there was a Ish Chos Gadol, there was a very big person, a very holy person, that was a teacher in this little village, and he would go every single day in the winter. Hayatavar gezizet debarde v'nachas v'taval b'chol yom. So that lashon is actually from the Gemara in Brachas, and it literally means that he would break the ice and go down and toivel. So that means that this guy in this village, wherever he was, it was freezing cold outside, he didn't have a mikvah, whatever, and he would go to the lake or the river and he would break the ice and go down and toivel. And close to the river, there was a non-Jew who was the shomer hakvasim, who used to watch sheep, right? And every single day he would ask this non-Jew would ask the Jew, this holy Jew, who was going to toivel, right? Why are you going to toivel if it's so cold, right? And the Jew would be like, whatever, I'm going, it's not a big deal, you don't have to worry about it, fine. One time it was mamish freezing, and he asked him, and he said to him, today is mamish freezing, why do you have to go toivel yourself? So the chassid said to him, what does it bother you, and why are you worrying about it if I'm going to go toivel, right? Nobody else cares but you. So this non-Jew said to him, I'll tell you why, because this thing bothers me a lot. This thing has to do with me a lot. And the truth is that I'm going to tell you that my father told me that he heard from his grandfather, Shahaya Mechashiv Gadol. He was a big magician, a bad magician. Asher me'ez sherabeinu or shivas hayabim harav hakodesh Rav Yisrael Baal Shem Tov chidesh v'chizik is inyan hamikvah. This mechashiv told his father, this mechashiv, who was his grandfather, told him that he told his father, who told this guy, that from the time that the Baal Shem Tov started to be mechadish the inyan of the mikvah, through this he was mivatel mimenu kol koichoi v'koich kol machshevei zmanenu arayim. Wow. Baal Shem Tov, this guy is saying that his grandfather told his father, who told him, that since the Baal Shem Tov was mechadish the inyan of the chassidim, that they should go to the mikvah, he was able to break the koyach of the dark magic, of this black magic, or whatever magic that these guys were doing. And that's why this non-Jew was very bothered by this guy going to the mikvah, because he was not happy that we were breaking the koyach of the kishuf. V'ha'inyan pele. And this is a very wondrous thing. So yeah, going to the mikvah breaks a lot of bad dinim, bad spirituality, bad klipas, all these other good things that we should do by going to the mikvah. Second story, not going to skip over that one, even though it's a cute story, but we're just going to go to this one. This one is about Rabbi Nachman. It says, Pam achas hoya harav kodesh Rabbi Nachman mi Breslov misukun ma'oid bilal Shabbos. Right? Rabbi Nachman used to fast from Shabbos to Shabbos. There used to be a custom by Chassidim, by some Chassidim, to fast from the time that Motzei Shabbos ended. They would not eat at all the whole entire week until Friday night Suda. Right? And it says in the Svarim that they would, that nobody knew about it when Rabbi Nachman used to fast, and he used to prepare himself some, not like fleishiks. I think he used to prepare some, he used to prepare some milchik food that was easier for him to break his fast on Friday night. But this time he didn't prepare anything at all. Right? It says over here, Kiderech ha'olam shemechinum la'atzman chalav u'mashkois chamin v'kiyotzi. Right? They would prepare themselves hot drinks and milk, because that's how they would break their fast. And he didn't break it, and he did not have time to prepare anything. Right? And he didn't prepare anything. V'gam shum ish lo yodem mizeh. Nobody knew about this. Right? And he ate the regular food that everybody would eat on a Friday night, instead of eating the regular food that somebody who fasted a whole week should eat. Right? V'hoya pamachas misukun ma'oi kenal. V'hoya rash godol. Right? And he was very misukan, and there was a big and everybody was scared and worried. Afal pikein, even so, achar hataynis mishabbos Shabbos b'yom shishi hoya hoylich lemerchatz. He still went to the merchatz on Erev Shabbos, this one time when he was mamish misukan. Misham hoya mikvah kar ma'oid ma'oid. You can imagine that there was a mikvah back then that was very cold, and he went inside to the mikvah, and he stood in the mikvah zman rav ma'oid. Be'erech shtei shoyis ritzufim. He stood in the mikvah for 2 hours straight in freezing cold water when he was already misukan from fasting the whole week. Kids, do not try this at home. These are for big tzaddikim. Asher afilu adam bari lo hoyel yochel lispol zois. So you see that Rabbi Nachman also was very moister nefesh and did a lot of big tikkunim in the mikvah. Okay. Last story. This one's pretty long. Said one time, in the middle of the night, a shliach came to Harav HaKodesh of Tzvi Hirsch Mizirichov Zichusim Yogan Aleinu, who was supposedly a very, 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 very holy man. And he came to him from a little village in the middle of the night that he should daven, that Rav Tzvi Hirsch should pray on this woman who was having a very hard time giving birth. And she was mamish in between life and death. And at this time of the year, when this guy came to the Rebbe, it was very, very cold. There was freezing ice and snow. So the Rebbe went to the river. Again, the same lashon. Tover gezize debardu v'nachas. He broke the ice, went down, and he put a ner, and he put a candle there, on the hole, right? Ula'orig gamar sham es kol ha'tehillim. I think he said the whole entire Sefer Tehillim for this woman, okay, who was having a hard time giving birth. And then he went down and he toiled. And when he went down under the ice, the current of the river took him away, under more ice. And he could not find the opening. So now the Rebbe is trapped under the ice. And now he's standing between life and death also. And Pitom, at that second, a Jewish wagon driver passed by, and he saw this lit candle by the hole of this river, and clothes nearby. He went to the place, and he realized that a man was under the ice, trying to get out. Hichnis derech hachor es hashoit ha'oruch shebiyadoi al tachas haglid. And he put in through the hole his shoit ha'oruch. I don't know what a shoit ha'oruch, maybe the whip, something, a rope, something that he had, a bar, I don't know. He had something in his hand, sleeve maybe, I don't even know. Through this hole so that the Rebbe could grab on, and the Rebbe grabbed on. And he came out of the water and everything was good. And when he came out from the water and he went back to his house, he said to the shliach that he could go back to where he came from and say Mazel Tov B'Shmi, because she already gave birth to a ben Zachar B'Shalom. Everything is good now. And then he said afterwards that after this whole entire thing happened, that when he was taken by the Zerem, when he was taken by the current, and he couldn't find the Pesach, he screamed out to Hashem, he said Tehillim, and he was maskir chas de'ovois, v'schus kol tzaddikim, u'biyichud schus rabboisav hakadoshim shebegan Eden, and he tried everything, but he was not answered, until he lifted his heart up to heaven, and he said, Master of the whole world, harin mekabel alai lias kaparasim shall shtei anefoshe shani mispal badam, right? That im nigzar chas v'shalom aleim kalya harini kaparasim. Meaning he was giving himself up for these two people. He said that if the decree that this mother and baby are to die, then take me instead. I think that's what that means. Uberega hu shalach Hashem Ezra mekudesh umatzes apesach v'yatz b'shalom. And then Hashem sent him. And when he said that, that's when the wagon driver came. Ubesharu min shemayim shetfilosa niskablo v'yisha yoda ben b'shalom. These were the tefillas and the tefilloisiv and the toivelings of Rabbeinu, of Rav Tzvi Hirsch Mizidachov. These tzaddikim were able to do big things when they toiveled. He says also, this is a very little interesting zach afterwards that he says, V'sipar Rav Kodesh Rav Yitzchak Isaac Mizidachov Mishmoy Al Rav Kodesh Rav Tzvi Hirsch. Rav Yitzchak Isaac says in the name of Rav Tzvi Hirsch that he heard from him that the same Magid who used to come and learn with the Beis Yosef, who was an angel from heaven, right? And he said that he wants to learn with Rav Tzvi Hirsch, just like he learned with the Beis Yosef, right? And he said to the Beis Yosef, I was miskala b'schus Mishnah Lishma, because he was learning. But to him, he came in the schus of his holy tefillas in the mikvah. But the Rav HaKadosh said to the Malach, sorry, I don't want to learn from Megidim, from Malachim, and whatever I need to learn and to be masig, im yiskel l'kach yasik b'sichlei, I'm going to do it on my own. B'li kol giloi shel Magidim. He pushed away the angel and he said, I don't want to learn with you, I want to learn it myself. These guys were big tzaddikim, and hopefully, Baruch Hashem, now after Corona, we're able, not after Corona, but a lighter Corona, I guess we should say. Second wave, third wave, first wave still. We should try to go back to the mikvah again. I think if we can, if you feel comfortable, if it's recommended. Here in Eretz Yisrael, it's already open. I see that there are less people going, but everyone's up to the thing. There are something that it says in the Breslas Farm that saying Tikkun Klali is like going to the mikvah, and listen, so we should all try our best to do what we can to try to be matayar ourselves in any way possible. And everyone should have a great day, and looking forward for the next video.